So, the fourth series of Merlin comes to our screens tonight.
Yes, and this time round, things get a whole lot darker. So we sent Mike to meet the cast, but he got a little bit more than we all bargained for.
I strode into Camelot wearing my chainmail with pride. It's more important than ever to be a team player this year because Arthur now has the Knights of Camelot to support him. While at first it was a tall order getting noticed, once the food and wine flowed, I really started to feel like I was one of the boys. But someone had other ideas and was determined to change me into someone more sinister. In Series 4, Morgana is hell-bent on destroying anyone who might disrupt her plans, and she wasn't going to miss this chance to persuade me to join her cause.
Come sit at my round table. It's so much more fun being bad.
She'd left me with a dilemma, but luckily I was able to turn to someone in the same boat as me.
Ah, Sir Mike of the Bushel. How goes it with thou?
Making his debut in the series, it's Arthur's uncle Agravain, also caught in that tussle between good and evil, as the plot lines turn more sinister.
We've had 3 years of that audience getting older. The younger ones are still being enticed, and the older ones are going, OK, we've grown up a bit, we need something a bit more, a bit darker, and that's what they've got.
I needed some thinking time, but I wasn't alone for long. I'd been rumbled.
Whoa, whoa. Sir Michael of Breakfast. What's this?
Your Highness, I don't know what to say. She's just so persuasive.
It's all smoke and mirrors, my friend. Step into my office.
And you don't argue with Arthur, now that he's got his knights to back him up.
It's given Arthur a chance to have a bit of camaraderie with his fellow knights, and myself as well, offset. So that's been, you know, a fantastic kind of element to this year.
That we all get on really well.
Do we?
So it kind of, well, sometimes, do you know what I mean?
Are you sure about
But
that?
I guess the banter could get pretty fierce.
You need that camaraderie just to get through the physical challenges facing the knights every day. I am more than capable with the lance. My trusty steed obeys my every command. And I carried myself with great dignity in front of the prince.
So, Brady, what sort of things have been different about this? Ah!
Anyway, back to our story and an insight into what's in store if I get in with the wrong crowd.
This series, certainly the two-part opener is quite unnerving. It plays on a sort of the old childhood fear of the dark and what could be lurking in the dark.
And so it was that the wise words of a young wizard finally brought me to my senses.
If there's one thing that might sway it, Camelot side's a better football team.
Really? Why didn't you say so earlier?
I got magic in me. Oh, I got the magic in me. Hey, I got that. Hey, I got the magic in me. I got the magic in me.
And here they are, dressed slightly differently. Very good morning to everyone.
Yes, 4 knights of the Round Table. We have Sir Percival, Sir Leon, Sir Elwyn, I think I've said that, Elan and Sir Gawain. Morning all. Should we just get you to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about the character? You go first. Owen.
I play Sir Gawain. He's basically arrogant, egotistical, womanizing drunk.
Right, great explanation.
Yeah, well, I'm Irish, the stereotype.
And you?
I did Tommy White, I play Sir Elian, and I guess a trouble magnet.
A trouble magnet.
Trouble magnet, Rupert.
I play Sir Leon, and I am basically Arthur's right-hand man, to say so.
OK.
That's
and
exciting,
lastly, Tom on the end.
I'm Tom. I play Sir Percival. I guess I'm the strong man of the group. I always seem to be given things to lift. And stuff, and he's sort of a strong silent type, I'd say, yeah.
I think this is a brilliant way of doing it, because you've all sort of bigged up your parts, haven't you?
Yeah, you'd be very disappointed.
Main person of the show, yeah.
So, people are saying it's got a little bit darker this time round.
It's actually quite scary. We're reading the scripts, and it's actually quite scary this year. It's got, it's matured a lot this year. I mean, and they brought us in, which made it much better, of course, at the start as well. But no, I think the whole thing is kind of taken a lift up. You know, they're shooting it on 35mm, and just the stories are much darker. And it's, yeah.
I think the show sort of matured with the audience, and so I guess as the original audience have got older, so has the show. And yeah, it's got a much sort of darker tone to it.
And it's in a different time slot, isn't it, as well, which sort of reflects what you're doing with it.
Yeah.
You're talking about TV, you're back in the old Camelonian
I'm
times.
talking about TV. Is it also in a different time slot then?
Messing with history.
Yeah, that's not a good idea. It's terrible.
Now, can I ask Rupert? I'm looking at everyone's hair. Now, two have long hair, two have short hair.
Yeah.
What are the rules?
It's always got it's the yin yang you've got to have. Yeah, one or the other. Well, when I joined a couple of years ago, and I was quite excited because I was the one with hair, and then Owen turns up. He takes the hair away from me, and then I was the tall one, and then he comes along. So I'm kind of now just an amalgam of the two of them.
And hair and beards. Does everyone have to have a beard? No.
Tom, can you grow a beard?
I can. You grow a beard? Have you shaved? I can. Do you know, I think there was a little mix-up when we started, and I started with a beard, and then lost it a couple of days into filming.
Well, are you told? Are you given? I mean, it sounds a bit silly, but are you given instructions about what your
Can I be honest
facial hair is?
with you? After next week, I'm going to shave my head and shave my beard, and I can't wait.
Because you've been forced to have it.
Well, I can't see. You know, I go like this. And I actually can't see what's going on, and it's beginning to get a bit frustrating.
Welcome to my world.
It's very difficult. I feel a lot of sympathy for you now. I do.
You know, I think a lot of it's when I auditioned, I had a beard, and then they keep it. And in fact, at the beginning of this year, my hair was slightly shorter, and then they said throughout the series, no, you've got to grow it back.
This is in the contract.
Well, not even, a little bit, I think. They kind of don't want it to change too much. They might go, who's this new kid?
Yeah, I can imagine. It would confuse people. And I
mean,
think
you must have the same thing with your hair, though, right? They keep everything very consistent.
It's not in the contract. But of course, in television news, beards are deemed to be not good.
Really?
Well,
yeah.
But clearly in
Merlin, the newsreaders are all
it's a whole different
it is.
So you've been in it for how many series now?
This is my third, so I joined in series 2.
Right. When it first started out, I watched right from the beginning, I'm glad to say. When you joined second series, did you have any idea how hugely successful it was going to be, actually?
For me, no. I mean, I'd watched the first series and really enjoyed it, and then you know it's an amazing feeling on set because it's an amazing group of people, the crew are fantastic, and everyone, it's just such a great unit, which is unlike a lot of jobs. And so you know there's something special when you join in the stunts. My first episodes were a huge jousting episode. So out in France, there are these crazy stunts going off, and you're going, this is amazing.
So who's got hurt? Has anyone got hurt doing anything so far?
Probably Rupert.
Yeah, we've all had a little...
We've all had a lot of time of getting a little knock or two.
Yeah.
Okay, but when you're jousting, knocks could be presumably...
This is the thing about the jousting.
I was going to say that most of the injuries have happened sort of offset rather than on it.
Have they? Well, because you're having too much fun?
I don't know.
It was that time you walked into the trailer, wasn't it?
Well, the trailer walked into me.
Was everyone comfortable with horses when they went into the show? Because sometimes you hear stories.
We said we were.
In the audition, you go. They say, "Can you horse ride?" Of course I can.
Obviously.
Exactly. Yeah, I've been doing it since I'm this high.
Shetland ponies, brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think once we got on there, you just sort of have to wing it a little bit. But they give us a few lessons anyway. So we.
There's some awesome shots of kind of rearing horses. And,
and are you in those shots, or is it stunts?
What they do? Well, I was going to say, I think some of them are stunts, and some of them were unintentional stunts.
Yeah.
And the whole thing about Merlin, it's really kicked off, hasn't it? There's a fascination, and I know it's partly to do with you were saying about the quality of the product. You know, it's so beautifully filmed now. People love all that stuff, don't they? There really is. People dress up, don't they? Have you heard about these things? Well, they dress up specially and watch the programme in the outfits.
We see also, because we filmed this castle in France, and so a lot of fans can come out and watch. And there are, I mean, some days over 200 people there, and dressed up as various characters. And it's, I think that's what they're doing. But it's very, it's amazing to see all these people dressed up as Gwen.